Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, run it back. Run it up, then run it back. Yeah.
Oh, good morning and happy Tuesday, everybody. How we feeling? Chandler, welcome back to California. Hey, how you feeling?
I'm back. Beads, you would have hated hour 2 of this flight.
Hour 2? Oh, no.
Ooh, it was
you know how long
rocking.
I haven't been on a plane since like July or June. It's kind of insane. And I may never be again. I may drive everywhere for the rest of my life.
It wasn't dope. It was not fun.
That's miserable.
Why didn't you text me? You know Captain Beads likes to talk you down. Like, come on.
No, it was one of those things too where like just no Wi-Fi the entire flight. Couldn't even
God.
just sitting there, a sitting duck.
I hate it. Ooh, I'm sweating. Okay, Boogie, you don't know this. I hate to fly, but you'll learn. Don't worry. We're gonna get this bad boy started. I will say this with the utmost professionalism: the league was drunk last night. The games were insane. The results were weird. Let's get started with the Milwaukee Bucks, shall we? Not good news there. They lost to the 2-16 Wizards, 129-126. They've lost 8 of their last 9, and the only win in that group's been to the Nets on Saturday. So 7th straight loss on Friday. Giannis said the Bucks need to fix their mindset, and he didn't even speak at all after last night's loss. Now, we've got those remarks. We've got this cloud of sort of where will Giannis end up next sort of looming over this entire season. Boogie, I'm going to start with you. These whispers are going to get louder. So how bad is the panic situation right now, if at all?
If I'm Milwaukee, I'm definitely in a panic type situation. And it didn't just start this season. This was chatter, in the offseason, this previous offseason. So this is something that's kind of been looming in the dark for a while now. And, this roster construction and the way this season is going so far definitely isn't, helping the situation. So I do think this is a time for them to panic. It's a time for them to make some serious moves, like bring in some real talent, some veteran talent that can, help move the needle this season and, possibly keep him in place and keep him at home. But this season, as of right now, definitely isn't a good start, as far as keeping Giannis in time.
Yeah.
Okay, Chandler.
Like Boogie said, these rumors have been happening for a long time. You've heard the Knicks, you've heard the chatter about, all on social media about him leaving. And when you have a start like this, when they're 9-13 and they're on a 2-8 game skid the last 10, and it's bad. And there's been a one surprise story for the Milwaukee Bucks, and that's Ryan Rollins. Outside of that, it's not the big signing of Miles Turner. It's not Kyle Kuzma, outperforming what Chris Middleton was doing. It's not Giannis, being on the floor, leading his team to victory. He's played only 16 of the 22 games, which isn't that bad. And statistically, he's having a great season, but there's just not enough here. And last night, you don't want to just panic over one game, but this is a bad loss. And they're bound to happen when you have such a long season. But when you give up 58 points in the paint, you give up 20 second chance points, it's a recipe for disaster. They shot 55% from the field and 55% from the three and lost the game. Like that is hard to do. They're just soft. They don't play defense. They're not clicking offensively. They turn the ball over a lot. I think they're 30th in free throw percentage, which has a lot to do with Giannis and him, shooting a low percent. But they shoot themselves in the foot. They play sloppy brand of basketball, and they're too talented to be playing like this. Like their front line, I love Giannis, Portis, Kuzma. And so Miles Turner they add. So they're too big, they're too tough, they're too talented to be getting out rebounded like this and giving up 58 points in the paint to the Washington Wizards. So I don't think this one game necessarily makes you panic, but this is just the cherry on top of holy smokes, we are so bad, we are so far away from contending or even winning games.
Lou, I know we say, ooh, they should add someone. And it sounds easy, but okay, realistically, what would they add that would make this feel like we're going to turn this thing around?
I got to go to my numbers guy. I'm going to have to go to Chandler and ask if he knows what they can afford to do. Remember that the signing of Drew Holiday years back, the signing of Dame Lillard years back, put them in a position where they didn't have a lot of long-term flexibility in what they can do in the salary cap. I'm not sure where they stand to present date, but it don't look like they can do very much in the market to make this team better. So I don't know where they go from here, but I agree with what both guys are saying. This team is too talented to underperform the way that they are, especially when we're talking about a guy who's considered an MVP candidate, who will be in the running of the top 5 guys of the best 5 players in the league. You expect him by himself to be able to wield them to more wins than they are, and they just haven't been able to accomplish that. Ryan Reynolds is a young guy who's been a bright spot for them. But other than that, since this Chris Middleton trade, you haven't seen the Milwaukee Bucks that competed and won a championship years back. They are very far from home base and where they were from that team. And it's just a bad mix of guys. But I don't know what flexibility they have to even make this better at this point. You know, you bring in Doc Rivers, you fired Adrian Griffin a few years back. And all of these were decisions that Giannis were a part of and that he had a say in. Now that this thing is blown up, we're talking about, you know, the trade talks that we started talking about last year. It's a lot of responsibility to go around, a lot of accountability to go around for the Milwaukee Bucks. You can start anywhere. You can start in the locker room, from them talking about guys got to change their mindsets. You can talk about coaching, or you can talk about where they are at the salary cap. Nonetheless, it's a bad position that the Milwaukee Bucks are in, and I don't see this getting better right now.
I do feel it's a fixable situation, and you know, off top, I'm not, you know, an expert on, you know, exactly what assets they have to move right now, but we do know it's a fire sale going on in California right now that's full of veteran talent. And that's from Sacramento to the Los Angeles Clippers. So you mean to tell me adding a guy like Russell Westbrook off your bench wouldn't help Milwaukee this season? I think their biggest struggle right now is the guard play. You got Zach LaVine in Sacramento. You got DeMar DeRozan in Sacramento. I'm pretty sure the Clippers are in a couple of games going to be ready to, you know, make some moves and possibly a Kawhi Leonard, possibly a James Harden. So I do think, you know, it's some options available. It's just about how aggressive does this Milwaukee team want to be, and how important is it for them to keep, you know, Giannis in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
But do they get better with more vets, or do they get younger right now? You know what I'm saying? Like, we're seeing all of these vets
You have your star in Giannis. I mean, he's still having an MVP type season, so that says a lot. Now we just need to put real talent around him at this stage in his career. This isn't a situation where it's, you know, it's a Clippers type situation where your star player is, you know, not always available or up and down. See, that's not the situation. He's in his prime. He's playing at a very, very high level. All he needs is a good supporting cast, you know, to make this a successful season. So I think it's a total.
They're kind of at a
but I think they get younger. I don't think they go out and get one of these vets. Like, no disrespect to any of them, but we're seeing the impacts that they're having on the teams that they're on. Now, obviously, when you pair them with a Giannis or somebody different, you might get different results. But right now, it looked like all of these veteran guys should stay away from the other veteran guys. All vets stay away from other vets, and let's get some young blood flowing in. I like Ryan Reynolds right now. Like, I like some of these young pieces. Where do they go from here?
Do you keep saying Ryan Reynolds, the actor, or do you mean Ryan Rollins?
Yeah, I'm Ryan Rollins.
I like Ryan Reynolds.
I actually just seen Ryan Reynolds on TV, so that's what's got me. That's what. Thank you, Beadle. I appreciate you helping me with that. Ryan Rollins, the young fella. I just feel like it needs to be some young energy. And with that being said, does that young energy come at the expense of Giannis going to another market that he wants to be in, that he would be happy in a New York or somewhere else, and Milwaukee starts over and they hit the reset button? I don't know. I'm just asking questions.
I think they're in that situation now. I think that's why we're looking. They do have they surrounded him with young talent. The Ryan Rollins, the Kevin Porters, this is all young talent, and these are the results. So that's why I'm saying he may need a veteran presence that also with that same level of urgency ready to compete for a championship. It's a fine line between having young guys and young guys that's ready to compete. So I think that's kind of part of their, you know, situation right now.
Yeah, I think right now, look, they're at a crossroads. They either go young and do a huge package and send out Giannis and kind of start rebuilding this thing, get a boatload of picks, get 1 or 2, 3 solid starting pieces that you can kind of start building this thing back up. Or you go the other way and you maximize the Giannis talent and you go out and you get a Zach LaVine, you go out and get a Vooch, one of these young point guards where you can possibly add some promise and some intriguing pieces to put around Giannis. And I think it's always going to come down to perimeter shooting. I think you have to have, the more shooting you have on the floor with Giannis, the better their offense will work. And right now they're struggling doing that. Ryan Rollins has been a great place. Kevin Porter's been solid. He's only played 3 games though. Kuzma hasn't really been the Kuzma that we've seen in other spots, and so they don't really have that production coming from anyone else. So I think right now it's either maximize Giannis right now, or guys, we're gonna lose him, and he's gonna ask for a trade. So we need to make a decision here.
Okay, can I ask you guys, like, you guys have been around this, your player brains are going to be perfect for this question. He's not going to be the guy that makes it ugly, right? Like, that's kind of not who he's been in this league. But quietly right now, Boogie, is he behind the scenes through agents, through whomever, just like, this is enough, I want out? Is that happening this season?
I can't, be 100% sure, but, being a player in this league and obviously having an opportunity to be a franchise guy, I could see that being the situation. When you speak on Giannis and what he brings to the game, it's also going to come with, contending for a championship every season. He's that great of a player. His level of play is that high to where every season you're expecting him to compete. So if that's not the case in any type situation, consecutive years, I could definitely see him, being ready to move on. So I do think that's a strong possibility.
Yeah, I think
I
think everyone has a breaking point, right? And I think he obviously wants to win, and he's in his prime right now, and we don't know how long that's going to sustain. So yeah, I think he wants to maximize, this 29, 11, and 7 stat line. He's shooting in the 40s from 3 finally. So he's not settling. He's not taking a lot of jumpers. He's getting to the free throw line. He, like Lou said earlier, he's in the talk still with how bad they are for MVP. If they would just somehow win games, obviously he'd be getting a lot more flowers than he deserves. But I don't know him at all. But I can't see he's going to make this like a public mess. But there's definitely frustration there when listen, winning cures everything, and they're not winning. So he's got to be frustrated. He's got to know he doesn't have enough, and he's got to know this team, as constructed right now, is not a championship team.
It's an interesting thing to watch in Milwaukee.
I gotta be honest. He's part of the mess, right? My thing is the separation between Giannis and the Bucks, right? Like there's a separation between what we're talking about. Again, every decision that was made for them to be in the position that they're in, he was a part of it. He sat at the table. So at some point there has to be accountability from your best player on the team to your coach to your management, and look in the mirror and say, how did we get to this position? So my only beef with this is I don't like the separation. I don't like the feeling of it being a separation of accountability based on where the Milwaukee Bucks are. So again, if Giannis is going to go to New York or go somewhere else and be happy, and the Milwaukee Bucks can reload with some young talent that the Knicks are willing to shed as well, I'm okay with that. I just don't like the separation of accountability right now with where this team is. I don't love it.
And by the way,
everything.
Yeah,
fair.
Think about that. You think they traded Chris Middleton without telling Giannis first? Do you think they fired Adrian, or you think they were like, when you're a player of that level, everything goes through you. There's players with less clout than him that have some sort of impact with a decision like that. So again, I'm not making excuses for Giannis. I'm just saying he's performing at an MVP level. He's always going to be, when he's healthy, he's going to be a dominant top 5 player in the NBA. There's no question about that. But my question is, like Lou and Bug, do you think going into like training camp this year, you think Giannis thought, okay, this roster's enough? Like this, we're gonna be good?
No.
Like,
no way.
No way.
But when you go into camp,
none of us looked at this roster and thought this team is going to be really good. Like it was a questionable roster. But to piggyback off Lou when it comes to accountability, I mean, everything you're saying is 100% correct, but we're also in a business in a league where accountability doesn't exist on either side. So I don't think that really matters, Lou. I mean, when has an organization ever came out and said, you know what?
You can always just point the finger at someone else.
Yeah, I mean, that's what this business is. So in the perfect world, Lou, I agree with you 100%. In this world we in this reality, this is normal. I wouldn't expect anything less.
Yeah.
This is going to be fun. I just think they're going to maximize it. He's never going to be worth more value than he is now. So don't do what other teams have done. Hawks Pistons. I don't know if you guys caught the end of this one. It lasted a minute, but it was fun to watch, and it came down to it. Cade's clutch play being the deciding factor. Right now, he's second in fourth quarter points. He had 8 last night in the final 3.5. And he's second in clutch points this season. Boogie, I'll start with you. Look, we have the MVP discussion. We know how that's sort of broken down. They are on a nice little winning, not streak, but they have won so many games this season, and they are the story as far as I'm concerned. I know the MVP is usually a 1 or 2 guy race, but can we at least put him in the conversation if we're going to broaden it a bit to 4 or 5 guys?
I mean, absolutely, especially where the league is today. It's so much talent. It's so much high-level talent in today's game. I mean, the list could never just come down to 2. Cade is doing everything and more than what he was doing last season. He's proven time and time again that he can lead this team. He's shown that he's the franchise guy. He's the superstar. He's now becoming a more nationwide name, a more global name. Obviously, he's a Nike shoe is coming in place with him. So everything is happening for him at the right time, and he's now slowly creeping into that superstar status. So everything he's doing right now is just all a part of the recipe. So it's expected.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's a moot point, like we talked about yesterday, with what SGA and the Thunder are doing, with Jokic's stat line and what the Nuggets are doing, even with the numbers Luka's putting up. It's tough to kind of crack that top 3. But if you look at the most valuable player on a team, can you imagine this team without Cade Cunningham? The Thunder would still be pretty good.
Sure.
The Nuggets would take a big hit, but they still have some talent there. Jamal Murray, I think, would take a leap. I think the Pistons, I don't think, are a playoff team without Cade Cunningham, and they are the 1 seed with him. That is value. So I think it's a no-brainer. He should be in the discussion. He reminds me so much of Jalen Brunson in New York, where he's just so clutch. Every fourth quarter, every game on the line, you just put the ball in his hands and put the ball in this dude's hands and let him operate, let him create. And 99% of the time, he makes the right pass, whether it's getting in the mid-range and rising up above a smaller defender or finding the open guy. And you can tell the Detroit Pistons, there's not a lot of names that we've heard of that we're starting to hear about now. And that's because Cade Cunningham is making the game easier for them, and he is willing this team to victories. And again, this team's solid. They're good. No one thought they were going to be here. No one thought they were going to be the number 1 seed. So when you start talking about what goes into voting for MVP, if winning is that, and he's doing that and putting up these numbers, he's got to be in the conversation.
I love him in the conversation.
I like it.
Yeah, I'm with you, Beats. I like him being in that conversation. How realistic is it that he's going to win it based on what the guys are doing out west? Who knows? But just as a sign of respect and acknowledgement, he definitely should be in that conversation for what he's done for Detroit as an organization, as a city. He's re-energized everything that we've thought about the Pistons. He's the head of that snake. Even last night, they were up 2 points with the Hawks having an opportunity to get the ball back. Instead of him waiting to get fouled or running that clock down, he attacks the basket, reverse lay everybody for game to put them up 4 to put this game out of reach. And then we had a bunch of crazy stuff happen right after that. But that shows you how confident he is in his abilities and what he can do on the basketball court. So I love everything that Cade Cunningham represents at this point. I would love to see him in that conversation, but man, it's a uphill battle for him to even have an opportunity to sniff a win in this MVP conversation with what these guys doing out west. But as a sign of respect, he definitely should be in that conversation.
Yeah. And
he's a favorite right now for clutch. So that got that going for him.
And I'm still not even familiar with that award, so I ain't wrapping my head around that one. I ain't tripping now.
You know how when you were playing, we were current players, you would watch other teams play, and you just be like, man, that looks fun, or I want to play with that guy. I get that feeling with the Pistons. I get that feeling with Cade Cunningham. They're building something special there, and they play hard as hell, and they make the right pass. And Cade Cunningham is so good getting everybody involved. They're well coached, so it's one of those teams where if I'm one, and they never had this clear cut number 2. Obviously, Jaden Ivey was going to be that guy. He's got an injury. Jalen Duren is kind of turning into a really, really nice, big man in this league. But if I'm one of these other guys, and I'm one of these guys on the trade block, that's a situation that I would love to go to and be in because They play the right way. They play hard, and Cade Cunningham is an absolute stud, and you know he's going to be there for the foreseeable future.
Absolutely.
That's the best part. By the way, as a shout out, I should say, 37-9 was the outscoring of Detroit's bench to Atlanta's, which I do think should be remarked on, because I mean he had a slower night than we're normally accustomed to. Jalen Johnson, by the way, we should at least mention, Lou, and I'm going to go to you obviously first on this with Hawks talk. They don't have Trae Young, and that has not seemed to really slow them down at all. And he has come out as, would you say, the franchise player for Atlanta moving forward?
He's really like that. He like that. He's one of them guys, and he's shown that. And the interesting thing I always reference back is when we were teammates, he didn't sniff the floor. He didn't get an opportunity to play at all. And we were all confused, like, how are we not playing this young guy? But coaches make mistakes, and as a result, they lose jobs. But listen, listen, he is a franchise, and that's no slight to nobody, but that's the reality of it. He is a franchise guy. Trae Young aside, you put him on any team, he's going to be a 1 or a 2 option with the way that he's playing basketball. The future is bright for him in Atlanta. I hope they figure everything out. And I love the fact that Quinn Snyder has found a way to maximize the way that he plays and put him in a position to be successful, and to put him in a position to lead this team with Trae Young being out. But if you're asking me if he's a franchise guy long-term, I don't care what team you put him on. He's going to be the first or the second option on the majority of a lot of them, Atlanta included. I love what he's doing. Shout out to my little bro. I love the fact that he's getting an opportunity to shine and show his genius.
Yeah. You guys want a little hot take on Jalen Johnson?
Ooh, love a hot take.
I think he makes Team USA. I think he is that good. I think he is on the Olympic team coming up in 2028. He's so athletic. He's expanded his game, two-way player, long, athletic, can get to the basket, absolute freak above the rim. And now this year, you see he's adding to his bag in his mid-range, getting more efficient from his perimeter shooting. This kid is a bona fide stud, and I would love to see him on Team USA come Olympic time, because we need someone exactly like him.
All right, I like that hot take. We'll remember that and come back to it. Taking a quick break. On the other side, Dillon Brooks had himself a night and also threw in a little mocking of LeBron as well. We'll address that on the other side.
Run it up, run it back, yeah. Run it up, run it back.
Well, the Suns are just a surprise after another. Scorched the Lakers last night, 125-108. Devin Booker had a short night, 10 minutes with a groin injury. Dillon Brooks is the story of the night, 33 points, 15 of 26. We do have to mention the Luka line, 38-11 with 9 turnovers. But back to Dillon Brooks, career highs in points and field goal percentage so far. There's a lot to get into on this one, but I want to start, Lou, with the fact that, is he in the most improved conversation, and is it a no-brainer?
I couldn't hold my laugh in, because, look, Dillon Brooks is one of those guys you hate to see go off. You hate to see him have a big night, because you're going to have to deal with him. He's going to be talking. He's going to be ready to fight. He's in the crowd. He in your head. I hate to see guys like Dillon Brooks have a good night when you're competing against him. But listen, give him credit. He whooped their ass last night, and he talked it, and he walked it, and then he backed it up. You got to give him credit. Is he in the conversation for most improved? He should be. You know, you look around the league, and, you know, you look at Jalen Duran. He's another guy. Josh Giddey is going to be another guy in that conversation. You know, he's averaging upwards of 22-plus points a game. Nobody saw that coming. We knew Dillon Brooks could score the basketball, but consistently like this, we didn't see. He's found a home in Phoenix, and it looks good for him. He should definitely be in that conversation.
Yeah, there's no doubt he's having a great year. Like Lou said, he's averaging 22 points, 3 rebounds. He's efficient. He's always been kind of that trash talking, defending, two-way player. Now he's getting, you know, some credit for scoring. And obviously last night he even made a joke. As soon as Devin went out, he was hyped because he got more shots. And I play with him. He's always been a good dude. He's always been a little nuts, but he plays the right way. He's not a guy that you put the ball in his hands and let him create. He's a great guy playing off good players, cutting, moving, getting out in transition, getting in passing lanes on defense and getting to the basket. But last night, man, he was showing a little off the block posts, some fadeaways, you know, getting to the lane, getting to the paint. He's gotten stronger. So he was in his bag last night. And again, he's averaging 22 points on a team with Jalen Green, Devin Booker, and then that's surprisingly winning games too. So it's a great story. And I can't go on any further without talking about what Colin Gillespie did last night too. I don't know if we're talking about him later, but he went bananas after a two-way player for the first 2 years in Denver. Guy won a championship without playing a game in Denver. Now he's getting an opportunity to really step up, and he was balling last night too. So this was Dillon Brooks and Colin Gillespie show in LA.
In LA.
And it was awesome.
I believe Dillon Brooks deserves more credit than he gets. I felt like he was the heartbeat of that Memphis team when they were making their runs. It's been kind of downhill for them. I think he brought a really tough culture to Houston with his time there. And now he's doing the same thing in Phoenix. Everywhere this guy has gone, he's brought that culture of winning along with him. So I just hate how that kind of goes unnoticed when we speak on Dillon Brooks. Yes, he's having an incredible season. His offensive numbers are up. But me personally, this is my type of teammate. I want a guy that's going to make every superstar uncomfortable, no matter, who it is. He's fearless. He wants to guard the best player every night. You need those type of guys to be a winning team and to make runs. He falls in that category of Marcus Smarts, Draymond Greens, Dennis Rodmans. Like, you want that type of guy on your team. And I think that's something that never really gets talked about when we speak on this.
You think he could keep scoring at this clip, Boogie, for a season?
I don't care. I don't care about his scoring.
Saying is right.
I don't care about his scoring. I just want to give him his flowers for being a winning player. I don't care about his scoring. I think he fits a role that on every single team. I think he can go play on any team and be a positive.
Any team needs.
Him averaging 22, that's just a plus. You know what I mean? But just him and what value he brings to each team he goes to, I just feel like it goes unnoticed, and he deserves more credit.
That's why I'm laughing,
awesome.
Boogie, because me and you got different mindsets. I like to throw that thing in the bucket. You know what I'm saying? I like to go get a bucket. So when I see a guy that don't really have the pedigree to go out and do that, and he's doing it, I'm laughing like, bro, can you really continue to do this? But you're absolutely right. Everything that you said about Dillon Brooks. He's an agitator, right? You hate to compete against somebody like that. But when they on your team, like a Dillon Brooks, a Pat Bev, and all of those people.
You need that.
Yeah, you love the fact that they on your team and y'all wearing the same uniform. But on the opposite side, you want to fight them every time you run into them. Like, bro, we're going to have to rumble after this.
And he's never really had to do this, right? Like in Memphis, it was Ja and Jaren, and Houston. Like, this was never his role. It's still not his role. I think when he scores 20 plus points, that's just a bonus. But you signed Dillon Brooks, like Boogie said, you signed him for toughness, you signed him for defense. You can put him on all 30 teams right now. By the way, all other 29 teams hate him until you sign him.
Yep.
And then he's on your team and he helps you win basketball games. So I agree. The Memphis, they should have never let him walk. The whole intro thing where he led the dance and walking out, like he was the heart and soul of that team. And they've taken a real hit since losing him. And it's not, usually it's because someone's scoring or someone's offensive. This was just everything involved in his DNA. And everywhere he goes, he puts his DNA all over that franchise. And he's doing it quickly in Phoenix.
I love him so much. I love a WWE heel. He is the perfect version of that. But yeah, you hate him when he's playing your own team. I do love that he's fearless. Boogie, you said it. He really doesn't care. As a matter of fact, I think he gets joy out of going after the biggest name out there, which is exactly what he did with LeBron James. A little bit of the mocking of the shrug and all of that. Here it comes. Says that LeBron likes people who bow down, and he's not one of them.
Oh, wow. I never saw
that. You know that pissed LeBron off low key, man.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he'll remember that forever. There's something coming.
You know what's worse?
Right.
You know what's worse than the mocking? What's worse than the mocking is that was a nasty ass dunk. That dunk wasn't man. And he celebrated like he's mad.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he went straight Michael Phelps after the weakest two-hand, 2-foot. But again, it had to be premeditated, right?
I love it.
He had to say, I'm going to do this before. There's no way I just came right to his dome after that dunk.
Absolutely. But listen, none of our greats get out clean. Steph Curry has been mocked. He's had agitators. Michael Jordan has had agitators. Kobe Bryant has had agitators. LeBron James is no different. And Dillon Brooks is the guy for the job.
Absolutely.
Oh, God. So
An
good.
insecure coach would call that toxic. They would say that's immature behavior. Secure
I'm for
coach, that's a
all of
win.
it.
Yeah,
I'm
just
for
gotta
all
No, it's
throw that
awesome.
in
But hey, but now that they're winning, Boogie, now it's moxie, now it's
there.
flair, now
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Imagine if they had the
Exactly.
record they had last year and he did this. We'd be having a whole different
he
conversation
gets
with a completely
suspended. He
different
gets
Exactly.
tone.
suspended for 2 games.
It's funny. It's funny how it works,
Conduct
man.
detrimental.
Oh, show it again. Woo!
love
Woo!
That would be
Like
classless,
Yo.
and arrogant as long as but if they're winning, dude's got to figure it out.
Oh my
They're,
God.
yeah, that is on the montage. That's on the Dillon Bruce
Tore his
montage, which is
labrum.
getting longer. It's by the way, that don't even joke. That would suck. There was a little historical side note to this game last night. JJ Redick left LeBron in the game last night because remember he's got that streak going where he's got 10 points or more at 12:97, which he got with a 3 with 6:50 left. The Lakers were down over 20 points at this point, so I believe there's a phrase or a term for what was happening here, Chandler. Little padding.
I gotta be honest. I didn't like it, and this was the first time in my life I saw an older LeBron James who played and looked like his age. And after sitting out the night before against New Orleans, I thought this was a perfect night for him just to go crazy and kind of carry this team to a victory. And Luka went nuts early on. Austin Reeves was struggling, and LeBron James he did not look like himself, which for me is the first time I've ever seen him like that. So it was a nice gesture for JJ to continue to keep him in there, and he definitely was hunting for it. And he was not coming out till he got it. This just felt like the first like step up on the way out, and like kind of catering to his legacy instead of focusing on this season in the game that was already over. Congrats, I guess, but like I honestly I didn't love it, and it was just obvious what he was doing.
You do?
I see it different. Yeah, because only reason I see it different, Rui was still on the floor. Austin Reeves still on the floor. Aiden is still on the floor. Why not LeBron be on the floor? And it's 7 minutes to go, and we've seen some weird things happen. But listen, he was going to keep that streak going. Be clear about that. But I just see it different because it's 6 minutes and 50 seconds still left on the clock, and you got other starters, you got other guys that's out there that's willing to compete. And we've seen wild things happen. If you can cut into this league and get back in this basketball game, you give yourself an opportunity. Now, if they down to 35 or of some crazy, and it's under 3 minutes, and he's the only one on the floor with the third string guys out there, I will see it different. But only reason I look at it from a different lens is because I look out there and I see 3 other starters still on the floor. So that's what makes it different for me.
Also, does that
That's
streak
fair.
mean anything? Like all the stats?
That's
and all
my question. Yeah, that's.
Who cares?
I'll ask you. I don't know.
Hey,
Like-
we
like-
need them
You don't think
all,
it's a thing?
Chandler.
Are
Need
they
them
gonna make
all.
sure he averages 20 to make sure he continues to average 20 throughout the rest of the season? I'm confused.
Too much
So-
math.
Hey,
I don't
listen,
like
Yeah,
it.
I think-
we've all chased records before. We ain't gonna do that. Boogie, you
Average,
gonna
I
chase
mean, getting 10 points
I done chased
consecutively, I
records.
just don't see
Chandler
that
done
being a
chased
real
records.
thing. Like,
I mean, look, Boogie doesn't think it's like a thing. Like,
yeah, I don't think
that's
Bron at
good.
the end of his career, that's going to be one of his bragging.
be a-
Like,
I don't
yeah,
even think it's.
I
I don't
never
even think it's
had
going to be on his
10, like-
resume. We won't even mention that.
Oh, it's gonna be on the resume.
Oh,
There's
but
gonna be a
He's too
T-shirt
great.
with
He's
all
way
of
too
the
great
We
to
don't
be worried
like.
about.
We don't care.
consecutive
Like I
10-point
didn't
games.
even. It's we 1,300 games in. I didn't even know this was a thing until we talked about it today. I really didn't. But if it's there
Kind of cool.
and I'm a player, I want it. I'm sorry. I want whatever record is on the table for
That's
me
fair.
to keep going. I want that.
It's greater things than having 10, bro. That's all I'm saying.
Especially when you're
10?
LeBron.
Like 10?
I know, but when you're
2-5.
LeBron, is it not? At this point, we're just sort of collecting. Everything's going to be historical here on out.
I
so we're
think
just
you would rather
collecting.
average 20 consecutively than worry about
Well,
having
yeah.
I say why not? I want every record I can get.
Like, okay, people.
You want it all, Lou.
The chat
want
room
it all.
agrees, y'all. This one's dumb. This one's meaningless. They're I don't know. What am I gonna say about this, guys? If you're a Grizzlies fan last night, this is all I could think about when you were watching some of these games. You had to have a little pain in your heart because Desmond Bane had a night as well last night. Oh, it hurts. Bulls Magic. This was fun. Little comeback win for Orlando. And Bane finishes with 37. He was 12 of 17, 10 of 10 from the free throw line. Wagner with 25. Josh Giddey, 22, 9, 6, 8 turnovers on that one. But the 37 points we got to go to because Desmond Bane's now done that in back-to-back games. Boogie, I will start with you because in June we were talking about the price that was received. It was 4 first-rounders for Desmond Bane. So let me ask you, couple of games now we've seen 37 points. You changing your mind as to what he brings to Orlando?
You know, shout out to him. This is exactly the guy that, you know, they wanted to trade for, this version of him with these back-to-back games. I still feel he was a good move as far as fitting at my Orlando team. But when it comes to the draft picks, I still can't agree with it. I mean, you look at the numbers, he's averaging a little bit over 20. To me, that's not 4 first-round picks. I mean, when I think of that, I think of guys like Devin Booker, Giannis, the elites of the game. And this is no knock to Desmond Bane. I just don't think he's in that tier of player. But at the end of the day, you know, this is working for Orlando. They got the guy that they wanted. He's now playing at that level that they were expecting him to play at. So, you know, I think this is still a win for Orlando. And like I said, I do feel he's still a great fit with this Orlando team moving forward.
Yeah, it's exactly what they need, and they need this version of not necessarily 37 points, but they need his shooting, especially when you have a Paolo Banchero who that's not his strength. He's more of a Giannis type that gets to the rim, off the block, post up, gets out in transition. And I was just in Orlando for a long time, and I asked a lot of questions. And number one, a lot of people, they all love Jamal Mosley. So all this trade, all this fire Jamal Mosley talk.
Did you do an investigative report?
Yeah, what are you, man on the street? What is this?
I was out on the street taking surveys. I'm telling you right now, there's a little beef with Paolo and Jamal Mosley, and that's just because of individually how he started off this season. I think they have high expectations. They gave up a boatload to get Desmond Bane. He started off slow. Now he's rolling. Now he's playing good. Franz Wagner has been consistent all season long. Jalen Suggs has been great. Wendell Carter has been great. The only kind of sore subject is, are we better without Paolo Banchero? And I think the answer is no. I think that the answer is no. I think he's a stud and he's going to be there for a long time. And if I'm the Magic, I have to figure out a way to make that work. But Desmond Bane now playing to his potential and spacing the floor and shooting 40% from the three and being a real threat is going to make the game easier for Paolo Banchero. And Franz Wagner is a more versatile player that can kind of fit in, play off guys more so than Paolo. But I think it's a good problem to have, and I think this team is starting to figure it out. And this is a team that had high expectations coming in. We thought they'd take the next step after last season and what they did, and they started off really slow. Now we're starting to see it come to fruition, and we're starting to see them kind of peak and play good. So I think all is well there, but the big question is, they're winning a lot of games without Paolo, and he's going to come back, and he is their best player. And so they're going to have to find a way to figure out to work him in and to keep him mentally checked in. As a player, that sucks. We lost when I played. I'm the best player. I go out. Now I'm like 7-2 without me. That does suck, but he's got to understand that, and he's got to find a way to keep them winning games when he comes back. And I think he will, because I think he's a great player.
I can't get past the visual of you. I asked a lot of questions. Who says that?
Listen, I got people in that organization, and they love Jamal Mosley. He ain't going nowhere.
I love to hear that. I do love to hear that.
I love to hear that too.
I don't care how unhappy Paolo or this real beef, they ain't firing Jamal Mosley. So it's
write that down.
And they ain't trained Paolo either. So they don't have to get on.
And they shouldn't. They shouldn't do either.
This is great, Chandler. Do you have any other places that you want to go spend a bunch of time and
send me anywhere? I'll go get some. We lost Shams. Someone's got to fill the shoes.
That's what I'm saying. You're now the Shams. Let's talk a little Giddey here that led the way last night for Chicago. Jamal Collier of ESPN said, and it sounds like a rom-com tagline, that the Bulls see Giddey as their Tyrese Halliburton, and now they're looking for their Pascal Siakam. Let me ask you this. Pacers did manage to figure out a way to build a pretty nice squad around Tyrese Halliburton. Is that what they need to do here, Boogie? Is Giddey the guy, and we're going to build around him?
I think it's a great direction to head in. And, they talk about, wanting their Pascal Siakam. And excuse me, I may butcher this kid's name, but I think they have that in Buzelis.
You got Buzelis. That was good.
Yeah, so I think they had that in the young fella. I think they just, allow him to keep developing, keep gaining experience, and I think they'll have their version of a Pascal Siakam. But Josh Giddey has upped his game this year. He's leading this young Chicago team. He's that perfect lead guard for them. He does have a lot of similarities to like a Tyrese Halliburton. So I can see the vision, and I think they're on the right path. It's just about adding, the correct pieces. You think about a guy like Lauri Markkanen, who was once a Bull at one point. You think about him with this squad and how he could elevate them as well. So, I like where this team is at right now. Obviously, they started off really hot and kind of simmered out a little bit as of lately, but they still have a good, young foundation, and I like the direction they're headed in.
Yeah, I agree. And I think I didn't want to kill them early because I knew they started off 6-1, but we kind of just knew
that's fair.
That they were going to sustain that, right? And I like the pieces that they've added. And Josh Giddey is having an all-star type year. And even with their recent struggles, I still think he's put himself in a situation to be a first-time all-star this year, averaging damn near a triple-double. And I love Buzelis. I think he's taking a step. He is a freak athlete. I think I told you guys last year, I saw him pre-draft stuff. The things he was doing above the rim were crazy. You know what you get with Vooch, but Vooch has also been a guy, he's been on the trading block his whole year. So I think they have pieces. Pat Williams, they finally moved him to a bench. He was a high pick that I think they thought were going to be a Kawhi Leonard type player that hasn't really panned out. But Kobe White has shown flashes last year of brilliance. So they have a lot of young pieces, which just makes me think that they are just primed to make a move. And you obviously hear the Anthony Davis talk. You hear these other guys on the trade block, and I think they make sense when you look at the roster here, what they can do while keep Giddey, keep Buzelis, and then everyone else is kind of on the table to bring in Anthony Davis. Now I think they're starting to make real moves.
It's kind of fun to talk about the Bulls instead of at a trade deadline getting rid of guys like fire sale to actually be like, no, we want to build now. This is a nice turn of events. I'm happy for Chicago. Well, yeah. Damn it, Lou. Take a quick break on the other side. I know you guys love these types of questions, but is Steph Curry the best number 2 option ever? You've got 2 minutes to think about it. We'll be back.
Run it back, yeah. Run it up, run it back.
All right, a little you buying that. For the record, I didn't come up with the Steph Curry one. Bleacher Report did. They did the best number 2 options of all time. And at the top, they had Steph when he played number 2, and I'm going to do quotation marks, to Kevin Durant. Chandler, you buying that?
No, because I can't ever look at Steph Curry like a number 2 option. Now, technically, on some nights, maybe even most nights with Kevin Durant was their best player, but I can't categorize Steph as a number 2 option. I think of a Scottie Pippen here. I think of a Kobe to Shaq, and even that's kind of a stretch. But back then, Kobe or Shaq was the one option. I can't put Steph Curry in that category. So I guess if we're gonna agree to put him there, then fine. He's the
Kobe
best
in
number
that
2
category.
option.
Wait a minute. We gotta find middle ground in this conversation.
For what?
Yep. Go on.
Put Kobe there though?
Yeah, like 2001 Shaq, like that. He ain't the number 2 option. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's not. If we can agree that Steph was the number 2 option that season, then fine. He's the best number 2 option.
But it doesn't seem like we're agreeing. We don't agree.
I just don't look at him like a number 2 option on any team.
Ever. It sounds weird saying out loud.
I'm disagreeing with the Kobe part. Listen, they were 1A and 1A. Siamese twins. No, listen, Steph Curry had 2 MVPs before KD got there. I think KD benefited from the structure of that team just as much as Steph did, just as much as Clay did. And I think it was a perfect marriage. Listen, you had a 7-foot unicorn that could shoot the basketball that you couldn't help off of. He was going to go out there and cook. And he was Kevin Durant at the whole time. Now, that is what I think happened. I can never see Steph Curry as a second option with him coming off of back-to-back MVP championship seasons. And then you add Kevin Durant and say he's the second option now. I don't see it that way. I think they were 1A and 1A. A lot of people, like, in hindsight, a lot of people said that it was Kevin Durant and he was the best player on that team. I think he played the best at that time for what was going on. I can't never say that Steph Curry was the best second option ever. But shout out to Bleacher Report. Yeah, it's
Seriously.
provocative
They made waves. They made waves.
Nailed
I
it.
see the look on Boogie's face
Ain't
right
no
now.
shout out to
Yeah,
Bleak.
Go ahead, Boogie. I see it
They
on your
messy.
face. I see it in
They
your eyes.
messy, bro. This is some messy
now.
shit. Like Kevin Durant ain't no second option, and Steph Curry damn sure ain't no second option. Take
1A,
what you
1A.
want with that. Argue with your mama. Argue with your kids. Argue with your dog. That's all I got to say.
Oh, Boogie hates it. Yeah, but you know what? The headline, Steph Curry is the greatest 1A player of all time, which just doesn't grab us the same way.
It's not as sexy.
We're not working that move. We ain't doing that one.
I mean, look, if the name of the game is clicks, well done. Are we going on to the next one? Do we have time? I'm like, oh, great, because I wanted to get y'all on this one for sure. Paul Pierce, Danny Green, you got the podcast out now. They said that MJ, as in Michael Jordan, had a, quote, limited bag, and SGA has got more of a bag than MJ. Boogie, I'll start with you. Where are you going? You can't leave. Go ahead. A limited bag?
Well, it is a
Damn, we
messy
about to turn into
Tuesday,
The
man.
greatest
We about to
of
get the
all
people going. Go
time.
ahead.
Yeah. Hey, listen. I feel like in today's time, if you ever say a player of greatness, especially a guy like MJ, lacked anything, is automatically taken as an insult, and understandably so. Saying that the next player has more of an offensive game, more of an offensive bag, is no knock to Michael Jordan. It still doesn't take away his greatness, his legend, anything he brought to the game. He's the most dominant, most winning, greatest player to ever touch a ball. That's taken care of. But when it comes to an offensive bag compared to a guy like SGA, it's not even close. I apologize to anybody that's offended. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it.
Is that a result of just the evolution of the game? Like
That's what I was gonna say. I
is?
think you look at the evolution, you look at the creativity, how innovative, like even a James Harden. And again, I'm trying to tread lightly here. James Harden has a deeper bag than Michael.
You know how great MJ is. MJ is so great. The fact that we're
not taking away that.
around it.
No problem. It says nothing to do with Michael Jordan's. It says nothing to do with Michael Jordan's greatness.
Offensive bag.
There's probably more.
MJ
like
didn't shoot threes and he couldn't go left.
Kevin Durant has a bigger bag than Michael Jordan. That has nothing to do with.
So I got a better comparison. Let's take SGA out. Michael Jordan or Kobe, who has a better offensive bag.
Where are we going?
I'm gonna hate this show tomorrow.
Kobe Bryant.
But again, whoever's listening, let's not get.
Stop tiptoeing, Chandler.
Yeah,
Stop
tiptoe, Chandler. Just tiptoe, Chandler.
Does SGA have a better bag than MJ offensively?
Yes, it does. How do you not watch both of their highlights and see who has a deeper bag?
I get it.
I'm in a messy mood today, so let's do it. I don't care.
Like a magician today.
Raining outside. I got nothing to do but troll.
Oh, great. He's gonna torpedo.
Hey, Boogie, let me ask you a question. Who's got a deeper bag, Michael Jordan or Kyrie Irving?
Oh my God, we're making it worse. I love it.
I'm just saying.
Do the top
there's
200 with a better bag than
how long before the break?
30 seconds. Go.
Let me stall.
No, listen. It's just the evolution of the game.
It doesn't mean Michael Jordan's not great.
Michael Jordan had a deeper bag than Will Chamberlain. There you go. So what?
Run it up, run it back, run it up, run it back.
We have 25 seconds to not get fired. Anybody else want to say anything silly before we get there? Or Boogie, do you need to stall some more?
I like working, man. I'm gonna keep it cool.
I'll keep it cool. Florida,
keep it cool.
Duke tonight, getting 8.5.
Hope you guys have a great Tuesday.
There it is. Haters talk.
Out,
Get that in.
First time ever.
Run it back, yeah.